Hello beautiful travelers, I'm back with another video because I simply can't stop thinking about the Xbox glider, Wings of Fate's course intertwined, and the Battle Pass Gnostic chorus. I have so many questions, and they probably won't be answered anytime soon, so it's time for some theory and speculation. Honestly, I'm going to proceed with this under the assumption that both the glider text and Battle Pass cutscene tell the same story about the Abyss sibling. The Battle Pass says that the first crowned heir who sought the Genesis Pearl from the Kingdom of Darkness was deceived, and the memory of her noble origins faded. She now believes that she is the queen of the Kingdom of Darkness. From the Xbox wings, the crowned heir of the glorious kingdom would be the Abyss prince or princess, given that it's also confirmed on the wings that they were a scion of a lost, glorious kingdom. The wording can't be a coincidence, right? Besieged by the Vinster king, who we now know had been corrupted by or at least become very obsessed with the Abyss and was harnessing its power for the sake of technological advancement, this crowned heir was then used as a vessel by which unlimited abyssal power could be absorbed and thus became the queen of the Kingdom of Darkness. That sounds a lot like the Abyss prince or princess, right? Here's where my questions begin. Why queen and not princess? Even if we assume that Genshin stopped pretending you had a choice in your traveler way back when, why this inconsistency in her title? Whatever their faults with playing favorites, the writers still pay a lot of attention to the details and wouldn't have missed something like that. At first, I was tempted to write it off as nothing, but then I remembered that it's Venti narrating the story of the Gnostic chorus. There is the possibility that he can't be entirely honest with the traveler about what he knows about their sibling. So, this may be the story of the Abyss sibling, but also not. That is to say, it may be an allegory. As we explored in Sumeru, some histories are preserved as allegories because history can be rewritten, and some histories are too dangerous to repeat. Maybe that's why there is only one version of this cutscene rather than two. It's either that or the writers didn't want to spoil the story too early on. And that's because what we understand about the Abyss sibling and their perspective on events from 200 years ago is very important to our experience of the story so far. I proposed in my last video that the Abyss sibling had been groomed, but perhaps it's outright brainwashing at this point. Can any of what they've told us really be trusted if they've also somehow been corrupted by the Abyss? It wouldn't be surprising given how much abyssal energy they were probably forced to absorb. They seem to retain memories of the traveler, but those memories may have been warped with a new false reality, that they are the heir of Conria, that Dainsley failed to protect it. Speaking of Dainsley, when we first meet the Abyss sibling again in Tevat, they blame him wholly for failing to prevent the destruction of Conria. Yet they traveled with him for years after the Cataclysm. The Xbox wings also reveal that it was they who became the key to the world's near annihilation. That's an entirely different narrative. So what's changed their mind about them? Sudden new information? Or a slow and gradual corruption of their mental faculties? Unable to cope with what happened in Conria, did they come to accept a new account of things suggested to them by outside forces? This got me thinking about a particular scene in the Caribbear quest, where the glass mirror shattered when they were revealed to the abyssal heir. Perhaps it wasn't the traveler who was shocked in that moment that they realized they were in a ley line memory. Perhaps it was the Abyss sibling who was also reminded of what they had been responsible for, and maybe it was too much for them to handle. It's heavily implied that this is where their journey with Dainsley diverged. And again, that would explain the change in their demeanor and personality compared to what we've seen from the traveler's recollections. Anyway, I have one last question. And this is a bit of a silly one. But Venti says in the narration of the Gnostic chorus that there was a second crowned heir who had come to pick up where the first left off. If they're both crowned heirs, were they intended to rule their kingdom together from the start? How would that have worked as siblings? Okay, that's enough from me. Well, travelers, until we are reunited,